Namaste. Welcome to this deep goddess, Mary Magdalene and Yeshua inner union yoga practice, yin yoga practice to be exact. And yes, so this, I'm just going to preface this straight out the gate. This whole thing was inspired by the eclipse energy that we're in right now. But we're also in this like new moon and entering the year of the fire horse. So big energies right now. But my thinking was more with eclipse energies. It's the sun and the moon kissing. It's just such a cosmic vibe, right? And with Mary Magdalene and Christ consciousness or Christ energies, they were, well, I'll get more into them in just a second, but I just was like, this is the time. This is the time to bring that vibe here. So we're bringing it. If you are just meeting me for the first time, hello, my name is Natalie. Welcome. I do a lot on this channel with goddess energies. I have a podcast, Sovereign Reality with Natalie, where I talk about the goddesses. Before patriarchy rewrote their stories, I talk about it from a feminist lens, and I give different rituals that you can use to invoke different goddess energies, of course, practical rituals. And then I also have a website, sovereignsanctuary.space, and can sign up for my email that I send out once a month. We work with a different goddess every month. I also provide a little ritual with them, a little background about the goddess, and I have a subliminal that each goddess kind of inspires, we'll put it that way, that you'll get for free. I do a lot with subconscious work. I have a doctorate in metaphysical science, and I'm currently working on additional certification right now in Kundalini, feminine embodied Kundalini to be exact. So that's going to segue nicely into this portion here. Little disclaimer, today's class is going to have little bits and pieces of what I'm learning with Kundalini. So I hope that you don't mind me sort of bringing bits and pieces of that in here. This is not a full-on Kundalini class. I want to be very clear about that. But we will be doing the Adi mantra at the beginning of our class, which is the Om Namo Gurudev Namo. You're welcome to chant along with me, and I will talk about what it means, or I'll just provide like a little, here's what it means at the beginning of class. And then at the end of class, I will close us out with a long Sat, short Nam chant, which you're also welcome to chant, okay? We will be doing a little bit of Kundalini breathwork. Of course, I will tell you how to do it, so fear not. Nothing scary, I promise, okay? And let's see, am I forgetting anything around that? I think the intro is out of the way there. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this class. And then in the next segment, I'm going to talk about Mary Magdalene and Yeshua energies. I'm going to talk about them in particular and how it pertains to you and your masculine and feminine energies as well. So you're welcome to skip ahead to anything. The timestamps are below in the description box. But of course, if you want to listen, please do. Okay, so throughout our practice, we will journey into the meeting point of your own opposites. We all carry masculine energies. We all carry feminine energies, okay? It doesn't matter what body you are in. We all have those energies inside of us, okay? You might identify more with one energy than the other, or you might feel a healthy balance of the both, Everybody's different, everybody's unique, and everybody is perfectly perfect just how they are. God makes no mistakes. The goddess makes no mistakes, okay? So you've got like more of your soft and structured, your lunar intuition, and your solar clarity. That's kind of like moon, sun and moon, that kind of thing. So some of you might prefer to work with sun and moon energy. Some might prefer masculine and feminine, right? That's also where I want to kind of lead into this other disclaimer. Throughout the class, I will be saying Magdalene energies, Yeshua energies, all right? If you prefer sun and moon or masculine, feminine, feel free to change it up in your mind as such. Okay. When I say Magdalene, I'm referring to feminine. When I say Yeshua, I'm referring to masculine. All right. So just know that going forward. Just wanted to preface that. Let's see. What else do I want to say? I have my notes here. The embodied dance of the divine feminine, wisdom, and divine masculine presence. So this practice itself, kind of what I mentioned here, we're going to start with a little bit of the Kundalini breathwork, move into more of the yin portion, and then obviously the practice closes with yin yin poses. So if you've never done yin or Kundalini anything, that's okay. It's all beginner friendly. You will need maybe a couple blankets. I always prefer to have one or two. They don't have to be meditation blankets. They could just be like blankets that you have around your house, or you can have like a couple throw pillows. But blankets are always nice just to have, for beneath your knees if they get uncomfortable, or to cover up with if you're, if you feel a little chilly, that kind of thing. For this class in particular, you will want to have like a bolster or a cushion from your couch or a sleeping bag that can support your spine. Okay, because we will be doing supported reclined butterfly or Supta Baddha Konasana. All right, I think that's everything. And as far as yin goes, my apologies. We hold shapes anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. I'm going to guide us into the shape. We're going to hold the pose. I'll talk a little bit about the channel, the emotional, or not, maybe not in this particular class. We're not, normally I talk about the meridians and the emotions tied to the meridians. But we will talk a little bit about, in this class, some of the somatics involved. And then I'm going to kind of get quiet. I'm going to give you your time. There are some journal prompts as well with this class. So you're welcome to do those before practice, or you can do the practice and come back to the journal prompts after. Okay. I will talk about the journal prompts after I talk about the Magdalene and Yeshua energies before practice starts. And then there's going to be a 5-minute free write. So lots and lots to talk about first before we get into the class itself, and hence why I have timestamps. She's loquacious, okay? All right, I think that's everything in terms of the intro. So let's get into it. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Mary Magdalene and Yeshua, or Christ, as many people know him, and how it pertains to like our energy bodies, right? I'm not going to go into Mary Magdalene's story here. If you want to hear about that, you can listen to season 2 of Sovereign Reality with Natalie, which will be out in the fall, by the way. All right, so Mary Magdalene would represent the feminine channel, which would be the left side of the body. She is the tender lunar intuitive current, or the feminine is the tender lunar intuitive current. It's the part of us that knows without proof, that listens instead of forces, and softens instead of grasps. This is the frequency. So, okay, I'm going to backtrack. Mary Magdalene's energy, I'm going to be real with you. Okay, I was actually just talking with a friend of mine recently, and I was saying how her energy is fascinating to me because I've only recently kind of started working with Mary Magdalene more. She has very strong boundaries. I've worked with a lot of goddesses, and like Mother Mary is a very accessible goddess, right? I feel like she is super accessible. I mean, I grew up Catholic too, so but I just felt like with Mary Magdalene, I don't feel like just anybody can work with her. She's a strong goddess, don't get me wrong, but I don't think she lets just anybody in. But I love that about her. Like, I think it's very like, oh, I got chills when I say that too. Because I feel like it's so perfect. I feel like she completely represents how the feminine can look when she's not in distorted energy. Like how like feminine energy can be when we're not written to fit the patriarchal rules, right? Spiritually speaking, Mary Magdalene is the part of us that remembers, I am worthy of being held, cherished, and seen. My softness and vulnerability is a strength. But what I also wanted to say was that there are boundaries rooted in self-worth. There's unfiltered compassion. I don't know if any of you have like goddess oracle decks. One in particular that I have, it's the Doreen Virtue one. Hers is unconditional love. And it's like, if I were to sink to, what people say about me, like it makes me no better than them. Right. And it's like loving people regardless of what's said about you. It's like this, she has like an unfiltered compassion. So it's interesting. Her energy is strong. But it's not mean. It's just, there's a boundary, and it's very like, not just anybody gets to come in. And I think that's so, it's lovely. It's just a lovely, like, it's a very chef's kiss. Anyway, I'll talk more about it in my podcast. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the masculine side. That would be the right side. This is the Yeshua channel, or Yeshua current. And this is not the patriarchal distorted. This isn't like the whitewashed Jesus, or the, distorted masculine, or not the dominant fixed control vibe that our society, passes off as masculinity, but the true masculine, the Christ consciousness masculine, who is stable presence, clear direction, loving boundaries, steady inner leadership, and the fire that activates but doesn't bulldoze. This is the energy that many associate with Yeshua, and not the churchified version, but the mystical one. The Yeshua who healed without hierarchy, the Yeshua who treated women as equals, and the Yeshua who taught union, not separation. In Inner Alchemy, this is the part of us that says, I've got you. I can hold the spaciousness that you're opening. I can hold the spaciousness you're opening to. So then we have our heart space. This is the meeting place, or the inner hero's gamos. This is the gold, the glue, the whole part. In the body, the left and right converge at the heart. In mystic traditions, the sacred masculine and feminine merge in the heart. In the Magdalene Yeshuan lore, it's been suggested that they were the first true twin flames. Their love being spiritual and alchemical. There's a book that I just recently read called the Magdalene Manuscripts, and it suggested that they even, shared a physical union before he was crucified. So she was the embodiment of unconditional love, and he was the embodiment of unconditional presence, and together they model union within, not dependency between. And that is exactly what this practice entails. We are working with letting our inner feminine soften without getting lost, and we're activating our inner masculine without overpowering, and bringing both currents home into the heart. Our yin postures will lean more feminine, and our Kundalini fire will lean a bit more masculine, ultimately leaving this practice to feel like doing a dance, little sacred dance for yourself. So let's talk about the journal prompts. Okay. I wrote 3 of them down. They, again, are in the description box below, so don't feel like you have to scramble to write them all down. Of course, you're welcome to hear me say it, write it down. Of course, hear me say it, pause it, write it down, whatever you want to do. It's up to you. And then after this, or you know what we're going to do? We're going to timestamp this. So let's go to the next segment, and I'll go ahead and read the journal prompts. And then after that will be the 5-minute free write. All right, so our journal prompts, there are 3 total. 1 feminine channel question, 1 masculine channel question, and 1 inner union question. So as I mentioned at the beginning in the intro, you can answer these questions before your practice, or you can answer them after, or you can do both. Sometimes we find at the end of a yoga practice that things pop up that we didn't think about before. Sometimes our bodies alert us to things that we weren't aware of. So, it's worth investigating. But I'm going to read these. Feel free to pause me after I read it and write them down, or you can just listen, or you can skip over this entirely and just look at the description box below, because they are down below. And then in terms of the 5-minute free write, you can take 5 minutes, you can take 10 minutes, you can take 20 minutes, you can take all the time you need to answer these questions, okay? Truly, I am such maybe this is the Scorpio. I mean, I'm Sag Sun, but I'm Scorpio rising. I have a lot of Scorpio in my chart. I don't know if it's that in me that it's just so investigative about myself that I'm like, I want to know all the things. I want to know what's going on in here. So I'm a big proponent of that for you too. Like, get to know yourself. Because did I say this at the beginning of the video that, the relationship you have with you is the only relationship that you will have that's guaranteed for the rest of your life. You're the only one you will be in a relationship for the rest of your life. It's promised. It's guaranteed. So you are worth getting to know on a very, very, very deep and intimate level. So really, I just encourage you to take your time and be curious about what you find. Okay? Be curious about yourself. All right, that's all I'm going to say on that. All right, question number 1. This is our feminine channel question. Where in my life do I need to soften, surrender, or listen more deeply to my own inner guidance? You can pause me here if you need to. Question number 2. This is our masculine channel question. How can I embody strength that holds, protects, and guides without controlling? Feel free to pause me here. Do I need to keep saying that? And question number 3, our inner union question. How can I allow my inner masculine and feminine energies to meet in harmony at my heart, supporting each other instead of working in opposition? So those are your 3 questions, again, in the description box below. The next screen or the next segment is going to be the 5-minute free write. And like I said, you can take much longer than 5 minutes if you need to, or just come back to this after the practice, or, again, do it before, do it again, whatever you want to do. The world is your oyster, baby. But once you have finished your journaling, we are going to meet in a seated posture on your mat, and we will begin our practice with our Adi mantra. So I'll see you there. welcome. Let's begin by rubbing the palms of the hands together, just activating all of the nerve endings in the hands. And then pressing right palm into left and left palm into right, connecting the thumbs at the sternum, the heart space, elbows flared wide. Engage Mula Bandha, so pelvic floor lifts, chin dips down slightly toward the chest. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And let's take another breath in and begin our Adi mantra. Om Namo Guru Dev Namo Om Take a deep breath in, squeeze Mula Bandha, look up at the third eye space, eyes closed, and release the breath and the hands down to the knees as you feel ready. Just taking a moment to notice how you're feeling today. And removing any props from beneath you, such as meditation cushions, blankets, blocks, as we prepare for Sufi Grinds. Bring your hands onto your knees and start to circle your spine. So yogi's choice, whatever direction you want to start in is fine, but we'll let the heart lead the movement. So we come forward on the inhale, almost like the rib cage is drawing halos around your hips. It's inhale forward and exhale back. Just let the breath be natural. Let the movement feel almost serpentine. This is you massaging your own soul from the inside. And whenever you're ready, we're going to switch directions. So same movement, same breath, just unwinding the other side of the spiral. So imagine you're stirring the pot of your own inner fire, waking it, warming it, loving it. And in a couple of moments, we're going to find stillness. In 3, 2, 1. So we're going to find an elongated spine here. Lift the pelvic floor. Inhale. Hold the breath. Bring the gaze up to the third eye space. Keep the eyes closed. Hold, hold, hold. Squeeze everything tight. Hold as long as you can. And when you're ready, you're going to exhale. And just notice for a moment how you feel before we move into breath of fire. So, if you've never done Breath of Fire before, one of the ways that I like to show people is to kind of just like you're panting, it's your belly pumping air. If you've absolutely never done it, I do have another video. I will link it in the description box below. So maybe go do that with me first and you can kind of get a feel for it. Otherwise, just take long, slow breaths here. That's totally fine, especially if you're pregnant or in your first few days of your menstrual cycle. You'll want to do that anyway. But we will be doing some Breath of Fire here. So here we go. It's short, quick exhales through the nose, like a pump from the belly. So if you're familiar, drop right in. And as always, stay gentle with yourself. If you feel dizzy, just breathe normally or take long, slow breaths, like I've been saying. And let's go. Let this breath clear you, energize you, and wake up the parts of you that have been waiting to be touched. Just a couple more seconds. Beautiful. We're going to take a deep breath in. Squeeze everything tight. Bring that gaze up to the third eye space. Hold, hold, hold. Squeeze everything tight here. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Hold as long as you can. And when you feel ready, release the breath. Release the pelvic floor muscles. And just notice how you feel for a couple of moments. Now we're moving into something a little different, a little magic. So if you follow me on TikTok or Instagram, you've probably seen me do this. It's called underarm breath. It's basically alternate nostril breathing without the nostrils. It's perfect for stuffy noses, deviated septums, or days when you just need something softer. So place one hand under each arm. So right hand under left arm or underarm, and then left hand under right, and just close your eyes. There are so many nerve endings under here, and they speak directly to your nervous system. So as you breathe, just imagine the left and right sides of the brain balancing, harmonizing, and coming into sacred union. And of course, we are going to switch up the arms. So take the opposite, whatever hand was on top or arm is on top, you're going to switch them out. So I always get confused here with my own. So just stay mindful of whatever arm was on top and switch it out. Perfect. Let's bring the hands back down to the knees. Just bring the eyes closed for a moment. Check in with yourself. Maybe take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Just checking in with yourself, how you're feeling before moving into our first shape, our first yin shape for our inner union class. We've built up a little fire. We've cooled down a little bit with breathwork and Sufi Grinds. So let's move into our first shape of the class, butterfly pose. Let's take our first shape of butterfly pose by bringing the soles of our feet together. You can either bring them in closer towards you or further away. You can also put some support behind the knees if you need to with either your blankets or pillows from your couch. Feel free to wrap the hands around the toes or around the ankles. And you decide here if you'd like to fold down the center line or stay upright. In this shape, we are inviting Mary Magdalene's unconditional love into the body. So just notice where you can soften your belly, your heart, and rest in your receptivity. We will be here for a total of 3 minutes. So if you would like a mantra to repeat to yourself, one that you can say is, I listen to my inner wisdom. I listen to my inner wisdom. If you feel your mind wandering, just coming back to that mantra of, I listen to my inner wisdom.
And let's take a deep breath in together. If you are folded forward, I invite you to come up and gently close the legs like you're closing a book. We'll lean back onto the hands and just do this little windshield wiper motion with the knees. Help release the lower back a little bit. And from here, just making your way onto your belly, setting up for Sphinx Pose. So there are some options here once you are in Sphinx Pose. If the low back protests a little bit, you can walk the elbows further away from you, and that will help kind of take out some of that intensity. And if you are looking for a little more intensity, you can bring the forearms up off the mat for seal pose. Another option to help with any low back issues is to spread the legs wide. Always keep the core active here and engage the pelvic floor muscles to protect the low back. Keep the shoulders away from the ears, and we will be here for 3 minutes. Now, this isn't a typical yin suggestion, but if you'd like to add a little bit of fire to this Sphinx pose, I'm going to give you an added option of doing some breath of fire here. So you're going to see me do some breath of fire for about 1.5 minutes. Feel free to join me. You absolutely do not have to, but I threw some in just for a little extra sauce this morning. Here, Yeshua's energy is present, steady, clarifying, protective. Let this energy guide and hold the softness you've cultivated, offering containment for your heart. So just focus on lifting the chest, steadying the spine, and just sense the subtle fire along the back. If you would like a mantra to repeat to yourself, something you can say is, I hold clarity and presence within me. I hold clarity and presence within me. So let's take a deep breath in, and on our next exhale, we'll stack the forearms and just rest the forehead for crocodile pose. If you want to put a bend in the knees and rock the knees from side to side to kind of help the low back release, feel free. And from here, I invite you to place the right cheek along the mat. And keeping the belly flat on the mat, you're going to kind of shift the body so it's almost like you're going to be climbing a ladder. So a 90-degree bend in the left arm, followed by a 90-degree bend in the left knee. And the right leg and arm stay long on the mat. So if you need to kind of look up and see what I'm doing. So it looks like you're climbing a ladder along your mat, and just take a moment here to rebound. When you feel ready, we'll just switch sides for a couple of breaths. On your next exhale, gently press yourself up into a tabletop position. Maybe you'd like to do a little bit of a cat-cow stretch before finding your way onto your back. Hug the left knee into the chest, then exhale as the knee crosses the body over toward the right. Keep the left shoulder grounded as best you can, and you can either extend it out into a half T position or goalpost arm behind you. Keep hold of the left knee with the right hand. That will kind of help deepen that twist a little bit. Adding some support beneath the knee can help draw the left shoulder down closer toward the earth. The head can look in the direction of the knee or back at the arm or up toward the ceiling, just depending on how you're feeling today. Just feel the left side surrendering, releasing tension from the ribs and the spine. The left side is Magdalene's side, and this is her energy, which reminds us that surrender can be a strength. We'll take a deep breath in here. And as we exhale, release the leg, come back to center, and do this little windshield wiper motion with the knees to kind of help release the lower back. When you're ready, we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So just start by hugging the right knee in toward the chest. And on your exhale, the right knee will fall over toward the left side of the space. Lift the chest slightly. Engage the core to feel the support. Here, Yeshua energies guide without losing center. Masculine supporting feminine integration. Take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, find your way back to center. Do any sort of movement you need here. Maybe that's hugging, squeezing the knees in toward the chest. I like to place my hands on my knees and draw circles on the ceiling as well, kind of giving my low back a massage. Just feels kind of nice. But if there's something else you'd like to do, then please do it. Take your time here. We are going to need our prop now, so your bolster or sleeping bag or cushion, whatever you're using today. Please move slowly if yours is farther away from your mat like mine is. You're setting up for Supta Baddha Konasana, our recline bound angle pose. Place your bolster lengthwise on the mat, right up against your low back or the sacrum. Bring the soles of the feet together and just allow the knees to separate. So we're kind of like what we did with butterfly pose. Now you might decide it's a good idea to have some support behind the knees to avoid overstretching the inner thighs. So grab some throw pillows or, blocks if you've got them, or even your blankets to add some support here. From there, you'll lower your back onto the support and then just adjust your shoulders and hips as needed. Rest your arms by your sides with palms up, or you can stretch them overhead if you'd like, and ensure your head is supported. You might want to use a blanket or something here as well if you need to. I invite you to close your eyes, soften your belly, and just take some slow, deep breaths. We have arrived at the sacred meeting place, your inner Magdalene and Yeshua energies, left and right, soft and steady, surrender and fire. Both of these energies merging in your heart. Allow yourself to feel the fullness of your own union here. And as I sing, please allow this vibration to rest in your heart. Let it be a blessing for your inner union, for your balance, for your deepest love and clarity. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way If you would like to stay here a little bit longer, please do. But if you find that you are ready to start making your way out of this position, just begin by noticing the breath. Maybe start wiggling fingers and toes, and hands and feet. Maybe a full body stretch. And I'm going to leave it up to you whether you want to roll over onto your right or left side today. Perhaps if you identify more as feminine, you want to roll over onto your right side, or if you identify more as masculine, over onto your left. Just be here for a few moments in the fetal position. On your next out breath, Gently press into the floor or the mat beneath you with the top hand and start peeling the torso up off the mat. The head and the neck will be the very last things to come up. We'll find our way into a seated posture. Once you have arrived in your Sukhasana, begin just by rubbing the palms of the hands together once more, like we did at the beginning of our practice, pressing right palm into left and left palm into right, with our inner Magdalene and Yeshua energies meeting one last time at the heart space. Elbows flared wide. We'll take a deep breath in together and exhale. And we'll take one more deep breath in before our long Sat and short Nam. Deep breath in. Sat. Nam. Bring the thumbs up to the third eye space if you'd like. Back down to the heart. Thank yourself for showing up today. Thank you for trusting me with your practice. And may the benefits of today's practice stay with you long after today is over. Namaste.